Welcome to Passenger Seat Parlay. I'm your host, Valkyrie Rain, and you are watching another Industry Insights, where we like to ask, who are you in the matrix of life? Well, stepping out of the matrix, today I have with me a doctor of dental surgery, owner of 2 multi-million-dollar practices. Sorry, ladies, he's married. Innovator in the dental tech space, and the flyest dentist you'll find in the Upper East Side. Welcome to the Parlay, Dr. Billy Choi, a.k.a. Choi da Boy.
Thank you.
Hi, welcome. Thanks for coming, Doc. Listen, y'all, when I decided to do this podcast, I was like, I want Dr. Choi. You were like top 10 of people I wanted to do.
Wow.
And I was in those DMs, y'all. I was like, hey, Doc, how you been? Miss ya? You want to be on my podcast? I was like very golden retriever energy.
No, I'm honored.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
First and foremost, I just want to give you your flowers because I just want to say, out of my 14 years in this industry called dentistry, you are one of the best providers I've ever had the privilege to work for or alongside. And I can say there are not a lot of dentists out there like you. Oh. Trust me, between you and Dr. Z, I'm spoiled. Listen.
Making me blush.
Yeah, I'm like, what do you mean you can't do a crown and an RCT prep in an hour? Dr. Choi can do it. Yeah. Like, what's going on? Like, so I'm super excited to like share your background with everybody and like how you got in there.
Okay.
Yeah. So tell me, who was Billy Choi? What made you become a dentist?
Yeah, where should I start? Well, first, thanks for having me.
Of course.
Yeah, this is amazing setup. And
thank you.
I obviously this is my first ever podcast.
Okay.
Hopefully many more to come.
Of course, manifest.
And last time we met, it was 3 years ago?
Yeah, I want to say 2.5 maybe.
And we did a little call, and then now we're here.
Yeah.
You're like a amazing host.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I knew you'll be a person to do a podcast. So I'm very excited
I appreciate
to do
it.
this with you.
Yeah, man. I swear I was always talking at the office. Like, I'd rather talk to people than do my job.
No, your energy really
you.
Brought everything together. Yeah.
Thank you. You too, Doc. Positive vibes. I think between you and I, we kept the positivity just flowing on the front end, on the back end. Like,
dentistry can be very stressful, and you know, patients coming in, they're nervous.
Yeah, for sure. And we're gonna get into that. Yeah. So tell me. Yeah. So you grew up in Seattle. How was that like?
Well, if we're going way back, I was born and raised in Korea, Seoul, Korea. Nice. And yeah, my parents. Growing up in Korea, the education is very competitive. So,
nice.
For me, I was, let's say if you're in 4th grade, you go to school, you pack breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Oh. And you go to school, and you get back home. Like you leave the door around 7:30, and you come back like around 8 p.m.
What?
Yeah, it's
That's
intense.
a whole 12-hour shift.
Yes, because, you go to the regular school and you have to go to secondary school.
Okay.
And then you have to go to English school. Then you have to go to computer school.
What?
Piano lessons.
Okay.
And that's because everyone is kind of doing the same thing. So in order to stand out, you really
have to be great.
Yeah.
Excellence.
Imagine Tiger Moms just everywhere.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, you are a first generation success. Because I always say there's the DEI of, well, it's not the DEI, the DLE of first generation, which is doctor, lawyer, or engineer.
Yes.
If you're one of those 3, you are winning. Okay. And clearly you're the doctor of the D.
You sound like my dad.
Yeah, I'm telling you. I'm Haitian American. So we know first generation, you got to be great.
Yeah. So, growing up, my parents, obviously they valued education, but they didn't want me to go through all the struggles of, going to school like 8 to 8. And, it was very competitive. So getting to even just the average college is like getting into like an Ivy League school.
Oh, wow.
You have to be very, you have to study, and there's no life. There's no childhood growing up. So, that was the main reason why we had cousins and uncles at around Seattle area. And
nice.
They, we did the whole visa process, and we finally got accepted. So we came, and I was 12 when we first came. It was first me and my brother.
Okay.
So my parents were still staying in Korea, supporting us financially. And then it was just me and my brother. We came, we lived with our aunt, and Yeah, it was tough being
Oh, wow.
separated, being
Yeah.
in a new country,
Yeah.
learning. We didn't
English, yeah.
speak, I mean, we spoke a little bit of English. We
Right.
took
Because that
lessons, but
clearly y'all had a whole
yeah.
school for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, that was a challenge, fitting in. And yeah, because we moved to a small town near Seattle
Okay.
called Port Orchard, which
Port
is like
Orchard. Okay.
there's nothing there. It's more like a retirement
Yeah.
community.
Okay.
There's one Walmart that's like in the center of the
Yeah.
town, and that's it. So
Oh, wow.
not many,
Humble beginnings.
not many
Yeah.
diversity. So when we first moved, we were such a foreigner to
Yeah.
to the kids, and they were kind of, oh, who's this exotic creature in our school?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
at the same time,
Classic.
there's a lot of
Learning.
a lot of not bullying, but they're kind of hesitant to talk to
Yeah.
you because we can't speak English. So it was a
Right.
tough, childhood growing up, but you learn to adjust. And yeah, that was
Pivot.
my beginning. And then, long story short, eventually my parents came. My dad and my mom, they had to give up a lot of things. There's successful careers just
Oh, wow. Sacrifices.
just to be together with us. So it was a lot of pressure
Yeah.
on
And what
us.
did they do back in Korea?
So my mom was a teacher, and then my dad, he was in finance.
Oh,
and,
wow.
yeah, he was doing great. He started. He did the same. He moved to Seoul from somewhat the countryside to be successful
Yeah.
when he was young, and he worked his way up, and he almost, I think right before he left, he was getting to that CFO level.
Ooh,
And,
CFO. Okay.
but he, obviously the family was more important,
Right.
and he couldn't be separated.
Gotcha. Strong family values.
So
Yeah.
he came,
I love that.
and we got a little grocery shop set up because our cousin owned gas stations and,
Oh,
and
nice.
a grocery store, smoke
I'm telling you,
shops
that
around the
first
area.
generation hustle. Like
Yeah.
when people see like people of color having gas stations, grocery stores, and you guys think that they're like poor or they're struggling. Listen, y'all. Listen, that struggle, I'm like, you're talking to doctors and lawyers
Yeah.
behind that desk. That's why, you
Yeah,
you
and
never know someone's backstory.
The reason why we do like dry cleaning and gas stations because we can't speak English, so
Right.
it's like the easiest entry to
I never thought
to
about
small
that.
business. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So
Insight.
yeah, so we started that, and we that little store put my brother and I through college.
Oh,
and,
nice.
yeah, they're still working.
So tell me about
Yeah.
college, Dr. Choi.
Yeah, college.
Who are you
Okay.
in college? 'Cause I'm telling you, y'all, he's
Oh.
coy. He's being coy right now, Dr. Choi, but he's a vibe.
Well, I mean, growing up in this
The West
small
Side.
town, before college, I was, trying to figure myself out.
Yeah.
I was maybe a nerd at a time, and then at some point, I was like a b-boy. I was really into
okay,
b-boying.
okay.
And then, in
Telling
high
you.
school, got really into racing.
Yeah.
And then I was a wrestler throughout junior high and high school because that was like
What?
the big sports in our community.
Wow.
So yeah,
I never knew
experienced
that.
a little bit of everything.
Okay.
And I still earn for like that Korean community, and so I was very Americanized
Yeah.
growing up. And then when I got to college, University of Washington, going to Seattle from this small town, it was a big deal for me.
Yeah.
And I got to see so many Koreans there.
Wow,
I'm
you found your
This
people.
is it. Yeah, I
Yeah.
was like, my people. All right,
Yeah.
let's party. So a lot of Koreans love to drink. Koreans love to party.
You
yeah.
put me on that soju.
Yeah, soju,
yes.
yes.
Okay.
Because Koreans just in nature, we're a little shy.
Yeah.
We're not as outgoing. So when we meet people, it's more, a lot of drinking
Yeah.
culture and, playing drinking games.
Yeah.
and,
Fun games. Yeah.
yeah. So that's how we kind of loosen up. And so a lot of partying in college because growing up, we just studied. And when we got to
Yeah.
college, it's
like let
freedom.
loose, yeah.
Yeah. So
Now,
so
did
we
you always
partied.
know you wanted to be a dentist?
No. So I always wanted to. I love that small business and the business side of things. So I always wanted to have my own business.
Oh,
so
okay. Gotcha.
I was applying to early admissions for business school.
Nice.
And my brother actually, from the pressure from my parents, they wanted us to be DLE?
Yep.
Doctor,
DLE.
lawyer, engineer.
Doctor, lawyer,
So-
engineer. Pick one.
yeah, so my brother was pressured to go into medical.
Okay.
And, getting into medical school obviously is tough.
Yeah.
So he wanted to go into dentistry because
Oh,
he was,
nice.
we're good with our hands, and
Yeah.
he had some good grades. So he was applying to dental school, and
Mm-hmm.
he was going to volunteer at a mission, a homeless shelter, dental clinic.
Oh, nice.
So he said, "Hey, you wanna come and go do this volunteering with me?" So I went.
Mm-hmm.
So I volunteered as a dental assistant,
Oh,
and
okay. Helping your brother.
yeah, and I loved it. The whole patient-doctor relationship,
Oh,
and
yeah.
I mean, there it was a little more extreme because there is a homeless shelter.
Oh, right. So they need it.
Yeah,
right.
and they're so appreciative of the help because
Yeah.
we're doing care for free.
Right.
And even just seeing these doctors come and volunteer their time,
Mm-hmm.
it was great. So they kind of told me about the business side of things in dentistry, how you can be your own boss. Whereas
Oh.
medical, you work for a hospital
right.
or corporations.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you can have your private practice, but dentistry is more common. You can
Yeah.
have your own private practice, better lifestyle.
Yeah.
You can finish the day. There's no life,
Yeah.
threatening emergencies.
Right.
So there's no on calls.
Yeah.
So the doctors there at the homeless shelter, they really pushed me towards
Oh,
dentistry
nice.
because they said, if you're really into business, this is a good career choice for you. So,
Okay, good.
so yeah, then I said, oh, do I really want to do this? So I started looking into these mission trips.
Oh, okay.
So growing up, I was Christian. I'm still Christian, but I grew up
in the
through-
church.
Yeah, in the
Yup,
church.
me
Yes,
too. In the
yeah.
church. Hello.
That's where we had our Korean community in the Korean church, and we were going to these summer mission trips to Mexico.
Oh,
yeah.
nice.
So I went throughout junior high and high school.
Okay.
In the beginning, it was more construction work and just anything to help in Mexico. But one of the trips we had was like almost like a medical trip where there was a doctor there, and we did these little acupuncture on patients. And again, same patient-doctor relationship.
Yeah.
I just loved it. So after that,
connection.
yeah.
It takes a special soul. Like
Yeah.
I can't walk into a hospital and I sense death. I'm like, I gotta get out of here.
Yeah.
Even though I'm empathetic, but
Right.
I'm like, I'm good with words and speaking life into people.
Yeah.
Versus like actually touching them and helping them heal.
Yes, it's
Different
not
types of healers.
it's not for everyone. Like seeing blood or
Yeah.
these,
Gross. Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't faze me at all. I mean, obviously, being a
Yeah.
dentist, you see a lot of things, but so yeah, that kind of fit my personality, and I said, you know what, I'll apply to dental school. So I stopped the business school plans, and I started applying to dental school, and that's when I ended up being in New York. Is because now my wife, I met her there,
Nice.
and we were dating at the time, and she was moving to New York for art school. So I
love that.
yeah,
You followed
so-
her.
Yes,
Yes,
yeah.
it's giving a Korean love story. We're here for it.
So yeah, so my love story, I guess we can go into a little bit, but I kind of knew very specifically what type of person I wanted to be with,
Right.
and we were friends at first, and I think I wasn't ready to be in a relationship at the time. So we were friends and we were having fun, and when I was ready, it just kind of, when I saw her, I haven't seen her for a long time, and when I saw her, I kind of knew, I was like, wow,
Yeah,
I'm
that's the
ready,
one.
and
Yeah.
she's the one. So
Oh, I love that.
so we started dating, and she said right off the bat, she said, I'm going to be going to New York because I'm transferring to an art school. She was actually pre-dental also.
Oh, wow. I
Same-
never knew
yeah,
that.
so she's also from Korea, and her parents, obviously also same
DLE,
type of
come
pressure.
on.
Yes.
We know first generation. They ain't playing with us.
Yeah, so she was studying science, and she actually did some work at dental labs. But she always wanted to do art.
beautiful.
So she transferred to art school in New York. So we did 1 year long distance because I still had to graduate. I still had a year left.
Okay.
So after I graduated, as I was graduating, I just applied to dental schools in New York area.
Yeah.
And thankfully, I got accepted to NYU. So which
Nice.
NYU Dental is like right next to School of Visual Arts, which was the art school she's
Oh my
going
gosh, the universe. They just
Yeah,
aligned
so-
it. I love that.
So thankfully it all worked out, and now we're married, and we've been married for 11 years.
Oh,
and,
I love that.
yeah,
Oh my gosh.
yeah.
I got to get
So-
Boomy on this couch. We're
Yeah,
going to get to it.
so that's how I ended up in
So
New York.
yes, and according to my notes and my sources here, you were one of the youngest resident doctors in Bellevue.
Yeah.
Tap into that.
Youngest attending doctor.
Ooh,
yeah,
excuse me, attending.
So after you graduate dental school, if you want to practice in New York
Yes.
or California, you have to do a 1-year residency.
Okay.
Yeah, it's called a GPR, General Practice Residency.
Okay.
So I applied to Bellevue Hospital, which is right next to NYU. It's on 28th and 1st Avenue,
Okay.
where NYU Langone and all the medical centers
Yeah.
are. And it's a great program, and I got really lucky to be able to go there as a resident. So
Yeah.
I did a 1-year residency there.
Okay. was that
Learned a lot.
experience like?
Oh
Yeah.
my God, it's the best program because you get to do all kinds of different procedures.
Nice. Implants,
Yes,
extractions, root
implant,
canals,
anything,
everything
you name it. And,
under the umbrella. Okay.
That's why I was able to do all these different procedures,
Yeah.
right off the bat. But of course, in 1 year, you can't learn everything. So
Right.
I kind of wanted to do, I was, of course, doing a lot of continuing education, learning.
Yeah.
And the director there,
Mm-hmm.
she really liked me. I think she's from Jamaica. She was an
Nice.
immigrant, and she's a very hard worker.
Yes.
So she saw how some of my
Dedicated you
work
were, yeah.
ethic, and so she asked me if I can come back as an attending doctor to
Oh,
teach
nice.
the residents.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, great. I thought it was a great idea because, me working in a private office, I at the time I looked really young.
Yeah.
So
you still look
patients,
young. Y'all.
I mean, patients will.
Listen, black don't crack and Asian don't raisin, okay?
Yes.
Listen, Dr. Choi looks young.
Yeah.
He
I
is
mean,
young.
at the time I looked even younger. So,
Yeah.
I'm seeing all these older patients and they look at me. They're like, oh,
Fresh out
who's
of
this?
school.
Yeah, fresh out
Yeah.
of school. I don't trust you.
Yeah.
I have to do these surgeries. And so they're a little hesitant.
Yeah.
So I thought it was a great idea to teach. That way I can say, oh, don't worry, I teach at Bellevue Hospital, and they kind of put
Yeah.
the patient at ease.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, okay, great, I'll do it. And I can also learn at the same time. And I love that energy of just being around the residents. And,
Yeah. And when did you know that you were ready to transition out of the hospital scene into the private practice scene?
I mean, my goal, even from dental school, was to own my practice right away.
Right.
So like I mentioned, I was really into the business side of things. So right off the bat, I said, you know what, I'm going to work for a year in many different offices as much as possible, learn what to do, what not to do, and
Gotcha.
then just start my own practice right away.
That's the best way to learn, right?
Yeah.
Just get straight to the ground and get running.
Exactly.
Like you worked in multi-specialty offices as an
Well,
associate?
yes, I worked in all over Manhattan, Union Square, downtown, Fidei,
Yeah.
Upper West, Midtown East,
Yeah,
just
everywhere.
all over. Yeah, so
I consider myself the Nanny McPhee of dentistry
yeah,
because I just go to these different, I've had 9 jobs since I lived here in 6 years. Wild.
Oh.
So I give them my little positive vibes. I learn the most when I was working alongside you. So I think you guys
Oh.
kind of pushed me up top tier. And ever since then, I just can't revert back. But I give myself the Nanny McPhee of dentistry. I sprinkle a little bit of this positive energy, and then it's just time for me to spread my wings and fly.
Yeah, no, the way you work, you can pretty much switch it up. If you see a patient that's a little nervous,
Yeah.
anxious, you're all kind
Yeah.
of high energy, and you invite them, and
Yeah, it's like the alley-oop. We were a
Yeah.
good team,
Yeah.
dog. We were alley-oop. I would always triage the patients on the phone. I'm like, okay, she's scared. She's asking me a
Yeah.
lot of questions.
Yeah.
I'm going to put you with Dr.
Yeah,
Choi.
yeah,
I think
yeah.
he's the best for you.
I
And
love those type
literally-
of patients. Yeah,
And it shows so much in your work. And I
Yeah.
want to get into the time that we spent together where I was able to see you work as a full-on provider.
yeah.
Now, for those who who are not aware of how many patients you see in a day, on an average day for you and your work ethic, how many patients have you seen?
I would say around 20 patients
Yeah.
a day average, but
I agree. Yeah.
mainly, us dentists, we we have our main column where we
Right.
do big procedures.
Big production work.
And then, of course, patients come in for their hygienes and recare visits. Then we got to jump in and out, do those exams. So,
listen, y'all, we used to have this thing at our practice where we would say Dr. Choi has the skates on. I would literally watch. Okay, sometimes I will say us as the front desk, we would like have to Mr. Miyagi the schedule. We're like, okay, we have to squeeze in 6 emergencies. We have a root canal, like 10 exams. They all want to see Dr. Choi. Nobody wants to see anybody else. We're like, and we'll just prep. And, I wonder if you knew how the schedule was going to be based off the way we would greet you in the morning. We'd be like, hey, Dr. Choi, you have a great day today. Like, I would usually be the first one to come up like, hey, Dr. Choi. So, just saying, have your skates on today. And we're like, okay. So we're like, we're going to make sure you have a solid lunch. And you would just Zoom. And that's why I say I get spoiled, because when I work with new providers, I'm like, yeah, just jump out of this room, do this, flip that, go back in there. And they're mind blown. They're like, no, I don't work that way. I'm just like, Dr. Choi.
I mean, I don't like to rush myself either. So I always give myself plenty of time.
Yeah.
So I don't have that many openings in the schedule. But we always have to accommodate patients, especially like for emergency, procedures. And
the patients are first.
You can imagine, tooth breaks and what do? You don't want to see someone that you're not familiar with.
Right.
Of course, if they're used to seeing me, we get them in and we try to make it work. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's we try to and yeah, like you said, when I come in the morning, it'll be a little more high energy and you have this concerned look on your face. You're like, oh, Dr. Choi, are you ready for today?
Yeah. We already know Dr. Choi, we're going to put a drip, running through skates. Now, something that I want to give an insight to, when doctors see patients, I feel like sometimes patients will feel like, I'm just here for a checkup. They're not really attached, but I felt like a difference between your particular patients, you would remember things about them.
Mm-hmm.
You would always keep things personable. And I would love for you to share with the audience and the listeners and possible potential doctors how you would do that.
So this is actually what I was lecturing at Bellevue Hospital when I was an attending doctor. Because us dentists, going to dental school, we don't really get to see these patients every 6 months because we graduate and that's it. We never really get to see them. And we're so focused on clinical part of dentistry that we forget, we're not just treating the mouth, we're treating the whole person.
Yeah.
So at the residency, I always kind of drill down to the residents. I said, you have to keep the relationship going.
Yeah.
And you have to connect with the patients. So even in dental school, I used to have a little notepad and I used to write down patients' names, phone numbers. I mean, it's all there on the computers, but I wanted to make sure they have my phone number. I always used to give them my phone numbers and write one thing personal about them. Like this person, talked about her son, or, this person doesn't like to be too far back, and something a little bit specific. So when they come back, I remember it and the patients, they actually notice it. And they're like, wow, how did you remember that? Wow, you have good memory.
Yeah.
And it's all in the notes. I just write it down and I can't remember all those details because we're seeing so many patients. So I always lectured about that because that's where I think you become successful, because us dentists, we have to get referrals and we have to get, everything's kind of word of mouth, just like any business, any small business. So
absolutely.
Dentistry at the end of the day, it is somewhat of a small business, and to be successful and to stay busy, you have to get referrals. So if you're really good to patient, that patient's going to bring their whole family, friends.
We've seen it. Yeah, personable. Listen, if I put a patient on somebody else's schedule and they only see you, they would rip my head off. Okay, so we already know. And one thing about it, working alongside you, I can tell you, like 9.5 out of 10, you always had your notes in. I didn't have to worry about, if somebody calls me about a conversation you had, check their chart. There are the notes, comprehensive.
Yeah.
And this is also why we're here today, to talk about your tech endeavors with CareNotes.
Yes.
So I'm curious to see how you took your behavior of actually writing your notes all the time and very thorough and turned it into a new app for providers.
Yeah. So, I think I've experienced, just in dentistry I've been practicing for over 10 years now. And during that time, I've gone through everything in dentistry. I've I've sold one of my practices. I have 2 practices now,
Nice.
and everything that a dentist could go through, I've pretty much gone through. Gone through partnership, gone through sole ownership, associate, doing a startup, all kinds of different
Yeah.
experiences. And now I got to a point in my career where I have nice practices. I have great patients. I feel comfortable doing any type of procedures, any type of patient that comes through the door. I can make this
He's
patient
seasoned,
happy.
well
I
marinated.
can do it.
You got it.
So I feel comfortable, and I always wonder, okay, what's next?
Yeah,
What
what's
can I
next?
do next? And because I've always, had that hustling mindset, always kind of trying to improve and grow. So, uh, I had a lot of thoughts, and I always came down to, okay, I got to do something where how can I scale what I'm doing and touch and affect many people as possible in a shorter period of time.
Yeah.
And dentistry, yes, you get to touch many different lives and improve their life quality. And having another practice where I don't practice there, but I own and I have 3 doctors working for me. In a way, I'm through them. I'm touching
They're
their
following your
lives,
mindset,
and I'm happy doing that. So, the next step was, and I've always been interested in tech, and how I'm always thinking, how can technology improve my life? How can technology improve my patient workflow? And that's when I came up with the idea of where, as AI tech was kind of improving, now it's possible to have AI write clinical notes for me.
Wow. Nice.
So your audience may not be aware, but every healthcare provider, after seeing a patient, at the end of the day, we have to type up what we did exactly, what we used, what we talked about, what's next, what the next visit's going to be. And, for me, after seeing 20 patients, I had to, everyone's, done. And after seeing my last patient, I had to go in my back office, try to remember, what did John say about who and so, and I type up all these details and what we did. And that's very time consuming.
Yeah.
So after a long, busy day, you're tired, you just want to go home and relax.
Yeah.
But I'm sitting there typing up all these notes for about at least 30 minutes to an hour. And some doctors,
you were the first one in and sometimes the last one out.
So some doctors, they just type a couple notes, couple details, and they just call it a day. Some don't even write anything, which is very dangerous because, something happens, that's our legal document. So,
clearly.
Or some say, I'll do it next day, and then it just kind of piles up, and you just can't even, you don't know where to start.
Especially when your notes are so personal too.
Yeah.
It's hard.
And that's why, with this software, you don't have to worry. It what it does is it listens into your appointment, and then as soon as you finish the appointment, the note is already generated and done, which is a very simple solution.
Okay.
Somewhat not so simple technology to make it very easy and seamless, but it solves such a big problem for us healthcare providers. So it somewhat eliminates burnout for doctors because they get to go home early and rest, and also improves patient care because doctors, we don't miss any details. It captures everything. It captures all those personal details. Gotcha. Of course, clinical, that's given.
So you engineered the app yourself?
No. So I thought about the idea, and I, at first, through my previous partnership experiences, some partnerships work great, but I was kind of thinking, you know what, I'll try and see if I can do this myself. So I looked into how do I develop a software, and a lot of entrepreneurs and the founders, they actually work with these engineers in Ukraine. They have some really smart engineers there. They work fast. They have really good work ethic. So a lot of them kind of work, internationally, but it's going to be a lot of expense, and a lot of risk. And turns out one of my close friends is an AI scientist in Amazon.
In Amazon.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he was leading the efforts in at Amazon of Alexa.
Ooh.
And obviously
Alexa.
Yes. And
very
which is like perfect for what I'm trying to solve, that ambience listening. So, and him and I, we see each other, and he used to live in New York. He used to work for Samsung.
Nice.
So he's in Jersey.
Got it.
And then he was in New York City, Midtown West. He was working for a finance company. He was in fintech. And then he moved out to Washington State for Amazon.
Nice.
So we haven't talked for a while, but we see each other and we're very close. And I just called him out of the blue after, thinking long, like, oh, I think this guy, he might be a perfect partner, because him and I were very different people. He has a very specific personality, very strong personality, and I'm very different. And so I called him. I said, hey, how you doing? Blah, blah, blah. I'm thinking about this startup idea. And he said, oh, here we go again. He's an AI scientist. So
yeah, everyone
he's got
calls him.
everyone calling him.
Yeah.
Hey, do you want to develop this? Do you want to start up this? And I said, no, listen, this is like I think it's a good idea. It's like, yeah, that's what everyone says. So tell me.
Yeah.
And he's a smart guy. He doesn't mess around. He'll tell you directly,
straightforward.
if he likes it or not. So, and I told him the idea, and immediately he just clicked. He said, you know what, Billy, a lot of people who come and tell me about these startup ideas, they have all these grand ideas. Like, actually, one of the medical doctor reached out to him. He said, why don't we make like AI that can co-diagnose with you and write prescriptions and all these grand ideas. But for him, it was just not graspable. Where do you start? It takes forever to code all these things.
Yeah,
So
because medical is so vast.
yes, it's just too many variables.
Yeah.
And when I told him about the idea, because it's such a small, boring idea, just solving, writing clinical notes.
Yeah.
But it makes a big impact.
It's such a big difference.
So for him, when I told him, he already in his mind, he's already programming and just he
like
can already
that.
see it. He's like, wow, Billy, I really like this idea. And I think at the time Amazon they were fully work from home, but I think they were kind of pushing coming back to the office. He just had he was planning for his second child, and he was also, I think he was in AI for a long time, and he was kind of wanting to do his own thing. Same thing. He was kind of thinking
the
back.
stars were aligning.
Yeah, he's like, what's next? What can I do? So everything just clicked, and I said, great, let's meet. So I was going back to Seattle for Christmas for visiting my family. I always go every year. So we met in person, and we talked about it again, and we talked for hours. I mean, that first call we talked for like almost 2 hours just talking about it.
Love that.
And then we talked about it, and just everything clicked. And then, the rest is history. That was 1 year ago.
Okay.
And,
wow. It's been 1 year?
That was 1 year. And we developed a minimal product. We launched it on the App Store.
Yeah.
So everyone can download and use for free.
Okay. And Choi, we trust. CareNotes.
Yes. Yeah. It's HIPAA compliant, military grade, security level, very secure. So and it's been very popular.
And when I first saw you post anything like a side hustle, I clicked that share button so quick, Doc. I didn't even finish watching the video. I'm like, you could have been selling us like the dental Ozempic. I was supporting it. I was like, what, Dr. Choi? Click, share, go follow.
Oh.
Now with CareNotes, is that specifically only for dental providers?
So no, any medical actually.
Really?
Yeah. So we have some doctors using it as well.
Wow. Okay.
And
Choi about to make that money, y'all. Listen, honey. Okay.
I mean, our goal. There's a lot of companies who does something similar in medical, but everything is desktop based.
Yes.
So you have to set up your Bluetooth microphone, and they charge like close to $200 a month. Whereas our solution, we said, every doctor, because all the solutions aren't built by doctors.
Exactly.
And they don't really
There's
get
a difference. They don't
how
understand.
valuable it is. So for me, I think, having this kind of tool for healthcare should be available for all doctors. So our mission is that we should release this as a free option for all the doctors.
Gotcha.
And then down the road, we can always monetize however we want. I mean, there will always be like a network effect. And that's how all these companies started, like Uber, not Uber, but Facebook, Dropbox, everything's kind of free. And then eventually they monetize long term. But that was our idea.
So I want to see if I understand how to use CareNotes correctly. So you put on the app.
Yes.
It listens to our conversation.
Yeah.
And then it writes a clinical note.
Yeah. So
I think we should play a game.
Yeah, so
let's play it.
on the phone, you just hit record.
Yeah.
Us doctors always have a scrub pocket, so
Yeah.
you just put it in. Or you can just use your Apple Watch if you have.
Love.
So you could just leave the
Accessible.
phone. Yeah, you could just leave the
Okay.
phone in the office, back office,
Alrighty.
and then you just hit record on the Apple Watch, and you just do your visit.
Okay,
You
I
just
love
stop
that.
recording and done. Yeah.
Okay, well, we're at the segment of our show where I like to play a little game with my guests.
Okay.
We're calling this WWDCD. What would Dr. Choi do?
What would Dr. Choi
this
do?
is perfect. I'm assuming you have the CareNotes app on your phone.
I do.
We're going to be in a scenario
Okay.
where I actually am your patient. Dr. Choi restored my smile.
Yes.
Hello, number 5. And
how's that 5 doing, by the way?
Oh, it's perfect. You
Is
can't
it
even
good?
tell.
Okay, good.
Oh my
good.
gosh, my teeth. I want to do something else, but I'm just like, I think I'm just being like too much.
Yeah,
Like,
no,
my smell
get
is really
you in.
perfect.
We'll get you in.
Yeah. And you know what's so good about you as a provider? You're never not too much. Like
Yeah.
you're very like subtle, natural, very zen.
Yeah.
And he has this secret like technique. I don't even know if I want to say it on live because I'm like, I don't know
No
if you
secret.
patented it or not.
No
But
secret.
like he has this secret numbing technique. What is it? The
yeah,
wiggle?
Yeah, the
Like
wiggle.
he like pulls your cheek back and he wiggles your cheek while he's numbing you,
I
and you
mean,
don't even feel the needle.
That's no secret. Every doctor uses it. But the biggest secret is when you're, of course, the wiggle helps.
Yeah.
But when you're injecting that liquid anesthesia,
Yeah.
anesthetics, the key is to really inject very slowly.
Oh.
Because the pinch you're feeling is the liquid building up inside the tissue, and that pressure pinches on the nerves, and that's why you feel the pinch. So if you're injecting really slow, and this is a good tip that I tell all my colleagues, if you go really slow, patients usually don't feel that build up, and they don't.
You
feel
just made a
pinch.
whole bunch
Yeah.
of money.
Yeah, no,
Yep,
no.
Are you guys paying attention? Take notes. Dr.
Yeah.
Choi. In Choi we trust. Okay?
Yes, yes.
Alrighty. So let me know when you have the app ready. I
it's
want to
ready to
play
go.
what WWCDW.
So yeah, as you can see, this
Okay.
is the main recording page. So in New York State, there's what's called a one-party consent law.
Okay.
So if you and I in a conversation, I can hit record without you knowing. That's legal.
Really? That's
Yes.
legal.
But let's say if we have a third person,
Okay.
not in the room, having a recording device in here as we're talking, that's illegal, of course.
Okay, gotcha.
So
Without my
that's
consent.
that's the law for most of the states in
Okay.
US. So in
So thank you for clarifying
yes,
that.
but of course, us doctors, we can build it into the consent form in the patient registration form, so it's all
Nice.
there.
Okay.
So yeah, how should we? You want me to just?
I'm just gonna
hit
walk
record?
in. Hey, Dr. Choi, how you been?
Oh, doing good, Valerie.
Okay.
How you been?
I'm good. Okay,
Yeah.
so I feel like there's this black spot on the
Okay.
back of my tooth, and my
Okay.
tooth is shifting out.
Okay.
And then I also kind of want to do a gingivectomy
Okay.
because I
okay.
feel like I have a gummy smile.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I should have Botox on my lips to like keep the smile. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah. Well, first let's talk about that black spot.
Okay.
So you're saying black spot, is that on the tooth or your
It's between my
gum?
teeth because I'm a horrible
the teeth.
flosser,
Ooh.
and I had a filling there, and I think it chipped.
Oh,
But it
okay.
hurts sometimes. But food gets stuck there, but not all the time. I don't know.
Okay. Is it
Okay.
sensitive to cold
Sensitive to cold
Yeah.
sometimes, yes, and
Sometimes.
sweet.
and sweet?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Let's maybe a filling chip there, and you're seeing a void that's dark, catching the
Okay.
staining.
Gotcha.
But we'll take an X-ray. We'll make
Yes.
sure it's not too deep. We'll do a clinical exam and confirm.
Thank you, Doc.
Now,
Yeah.
as far as your gummy smile, as you say, so the Botox is one option where
Okay.
we do a couple injections on the upper lip so
Okay.
that as you smile, it doesn't contract as much, and
Okay.
the muscle's a little weak, and it can cover the gum more. But that effects only last about 4 to 6 months.
Gotcha.
That means if you want to have that smile and maintain,
I got to keep it up.
yeah, so that's a consistent Botox, which is fine, but I think a better option would be doing some gingivectomy, we call it, where
Gotcha.
we reshape the gum line with the laser. You're
Gotcha.
numb, you don't feel anything, and
Okay.
that way your teeth. I'm just doing a quick look, and I see
Okay.
the ratio. I think the teeth can use a little bit more of a height.
Okay.
So if we do a gingivectomy, you'll be able to see more of the tooth height wise, and it'll
Yes.
look a little more natural.
Yes, Doc, because
Yeah.
I'm trying to get proposed to this year, and
Oh,
I need
let's
to be
make it happen.
right.
Let's
I need to
make it
be
happen.
bride ready. So I need you to
Good.
fix my smile.
Yeah.
So other than that, do I have any other treatment? What's my next? Like, what should I do next?
Yeah. So, I'll write up the whole treatment plan.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like this upper left looking at the x-ray, there's a little filling we need to do. So
Okay.
we'll start there because that's important.
Got it.
And then our team on the way out will go over the whole treatment plan with you, all the coverage, so you know what to expect. We don't
Perfect.
like surprises.
Yes.
And then the gingivectomy, that's as long as it's before your big wedding day, I think we'll be okay.
Awesome.
And so look at all the factors. And when you're ready, you just let my team know at the front. And we'll get things going.
Perfect.
Yes.
Thank you. And scene, everybody.
All right. So should I
Yes.
stop the recording and let's see how it came out?
This is so cool.
Okay. So you see, I just hit stop and then you
Uh-huh.
see that little wiggling button there, little menu.
Yeah.
You hit that. And then on the top,
Mm-hmm.
it should be generating. You see that little
Oh,
progress thing?
wow. This is so
So it's spinning.
cool.
Wow.
This is cool.
And you'll
I'm like,
see-
look, everybody, it's
So
working.
You'll see a green note there.
Oh,
little
green
icon,
note.
So hit that. And
Whoa.
let's see. So I always
Wow.
put my side note, the personal note on top. So let's see how
Okay.
it came out.
So it's broken down, y'all. So it says side note. Patient expressed concerns about a black spot on the back of a tooth, shifting teeth, and a gummy smile. She mentioned sensitivity to cold and sweet foods in the affected area. Patient is preparing for a significant life event, quotations, engagement, and wedding,
Oh, yeah.
and desires an
good.
improved
You
smile.
capture that detail.
Wow,
Good, good.
wow. This AI is not playing. So it says PTCC. What does that stand for?
Patient chief concern.
Patient
So
chief
what-
concern, which is an exam treatment. And what is RMF? RMH.
Reviewed medical history.
Okay.
So all these things that we don't want to forget.
Right.
If we don't talk about it here, obviously it's like a reminder so that doctors can review the medical
Gotcha.
history if they have new medications and things like
Gotcha.
that.
And it even mentions x-rays reviewed.
Yeah.
Upper left shows a void in previous filling. All risk complications, alternatives, and benefits discussed. All questions answered. So while I was paying attention
Yeah.
and it realized that you answered all my questions. Clinical exam confirms a chipped filling on the upper left with a void catching stain. Sensitivity to cold and sweet. Noted gummy smile observed with disproportionate gum to tooth ratio, which you mentioned.
Oh, yes.
Which you mentioned to me because I was like, dang. I know we were playing a little scene, but I was like, Dr.
I got a
Choi.
little too clinical there.
No,
Sorry.
I'm like, oh God. I'm like, should I get a
It just came
gingivectomy?
out.
No, that's perfect. And then it has the treatment plan already written out, which
Cool.
is number 1, replace the chipped filling on upper left.
Yeah.
2 is gingivectomy, recommended to reshape gum line and improve tooth height for a more natural appearance.
Great.
Laser procedure suggested for minimal discomfort.
Wow.
And 3, Botox discussed as a temporary option for reducing a
Oh,
gummy
even
smile.
Botox, okay.
Lasting 4 to 6 months. Gingivectomy preferred for long-term results. Listen, even the app isn't impressing you.
I know.
That's crazy.
I was kind of nervous for
It's
a
like,
second.
hold on, not so much. Wow. And then lastly, it has next visit, schedule filling replacement for upper left, discuss and finalize gingivectomy timeline before the patient's wedding. And 3, review treatment plan and coverage with front office team. Wow, this is great, Doc. Like,
Awesome.
I never downloaded the app because I'm not a provider, so
Anyone
I
can
don't really
download
use it.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
So there's a note setting there, what's called a SOAP note. It's a little more general for medical doctors, but you can even use it like, I don't know, if you're doing like a pre-interview with someone.
Oh yeah, I use that for
record,
Zoom.
And
I
it
can
may
use
capture, it may capture all those details.
Oh yes, we're gonna do this. I'm gonna download.
I mean, you may see little weird details about like dental things. But
because
but
it's
at
not
least
integrated. This is
captures
amazing.
the personal details.
So how do I get the app into my dental? Like, how does that
So now,
go into my dental software?
Now this note, you can get to your dental software. Now, a lot of doctors use many different software. So
Dentrix,
yes,
EagleSoft.
yeah. So many different varieties. So we can have the CareNotes integrated in. So when you just sign by just tapping the note, it goes directly into software, so you don't have to do anything.
Okay.
But right now, because it's a free version, you just go into you just open up a web browser and you go to mycarenotes.com /notes, and then you log in with the same credentials.
Wow.
And then you'll see the note there, like a little card, and you just click on it and just paste.
You just
on
copy
there.
and paste
copy
right
and
now.
paste. That's
Okay.
it.
So are you currently working on having it fully integrated with any particular
Yes,
softwares?
yeah. So actually, right now we're in the middle of a Series A round where we're fundraising for the next step.
Wow.
Meaning, if this round is fulfilled, then we get a significant capital where we can hire engineers, because integration is easy, but it's very time consuming.
Right.
Because we have to reach out to all these other softwares, which we're
Right.
doing right now, but
Yeah.
it just takes time. So once that's secured, we'll probably
This is
just go
nice.
really fast, integrating into medical software, dental softwares, and yeah. That's
I
the
love
next step.
that. Listen, Dr. Choi is climbing. Now, do you have any plans to have CareNotes at any events for providers to look into?
Yes. We're actually going to Pacific Northwest Dental Conference
Oh,
in
very
Seattle.
nice.
Yeah.
When's that?
My hometown. It's in May,
Okay.
May 8th. So we got a little booth there.
Okay.
So this is all new to me. I've never had a booth at
Yes.
a dental conference, but very excited. We're going to go there and showcase the CareNotes, like what we did just
I love
here.
that. Yes.
So that doctors can be exposed to it,
Wow.
so they don't have to pay all these expensive monthly subscription fee to
Yeah.
utilize the technology,
Wow.
and then just take it from there. And this is all learning experience for me
It's
too.
brand new. Yeah.
Which is exciting. Even doing like a podcast like this, and
Wow.
going to dental conferences. I'm actually doing all these pitch meetings.
Yeah.
I've talked to some, big healthcare companies, CEOs and
Ooh, okay.
CFOs.
It's
and
coming.
this is all
It's
fun,
happening,
and
yeah.
this is new. So for me, this is I'm just, whether this works out or not.
It's working out.
I'm yes, but
Hello,
but
it's done.
I'm in the middle of it, and when I'm tired, when I'm stressed, I just feel that fulfillment and the happiness, and
Yeah.
in a way, I'm just living my dream.
Yeah.
I'm just doing what I'm passionate about.
Yeah. And following your
Yeah.
purpose, because I feel like your
Yeah.
purpose is to help others.
Yes.
And,
yeah.
not only are you helping patients, but you're helping providers such as
Yes,
yourself,
yes.
which
Like
is
I
like
said, my phone
mind-blowing.
background is this,
Bring
which
out-
I feel like you do.
Oh, bring out the very best in people.
Yes.
Thank you.
This
Dr.
is what you
Choi
do,
is the
Val.
real deal.
This
You are
is
the
what you
real
do.
deal. Thank you. This is what I meant to do.
Yes.
Like, granted, this podcast is the first stepping stone of me stepping in. Because
Yeah.
this is why I like industry insights, because I ask people, who are you in the matrix of life?
Yeah.
In the matrix of life, you're a doctor, you're a
Yeah.
son, you're a husband, you're a tech engineer. Like,
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
so many things in the matrix. And I feel like us as people, we need to sometimes step out of our matrix that we may be stuck in
Yes.
and just step out into something new that we want to do. Don't be afraid to follow our passions.
And and I know we talked about it before, but being a dentist was somewhat of a dream passed down from my parents.
Right.
That pressure, and
Yeah.
that was the right thing to do for me at the time, because my parents sacrificed so much, and I think a lot of immigrant family, second generations can relate. But
Yeah.
I became a partner of the practice. I own 2 practices. My parents visited; they were so happy.
Yeah.
And my
I remember
goal,
meeting them.
yes,
They were so
yes.
sweet.
So my goal was achieved and done, and that kind of hit me. I was like, oh, okay, what did I want to do in my life? Like,
Yeah.
what's next for me? Okay,
Yeah.
my parents are happy. That was like my driven, goal.
Yeah.
And that's when this, CareNotes came about. But
Wow, I love
I
that.
think we should always, you too, I know we talked about it, where when patients come in, you literally bring out the best in these patients,
Yeah.
because I always see patients walking in, and you're greeting them, you complimenting them, their facial expression, because going to dental office is no fun.
Yeah. No one wants to hang out with us.
And especially if they're in pain.
Yeah.
But the minute you talk to them, they're just like smiling, and the whole energy is different.
thank
And
you,
that
Doc.
sets us up for success.
Yes.
So I knew you had that talent and that energy.
Thank you, Doc.
And when you told me, I know I already said this to you, but when you told me you were doing a podcast,
Yeah.
I said, wow, that's perfect. And you should do
So,
more.
thank you.
You should do all these interviews. You should meet people and talk to them.
Yeah.
And that's why for me too, I felt more comfortable doing this and just coming out and talking
Thank
with
you, Dr.
because
Choi.
I hate being on camera or being in front of anything. You know,
No, it's real. It takes a lot to be out there.
Yeah.
And even talking about the first generation successes and failures, I felt because I'm not a doctor, lawyer, or engineer, I feel like I was a first generation failure. And although it's like I have the need and purpose to help people, I just had to find a way to do it my way that I can also, you know, make my mother proud. Or because I have to be proud for me too, you know what I'm saying? So thank you for saying that.
I think she should be very proud because I think
She
like I said, every person you meet, I think you leave some
a little
positivity.
Thank you. I try.
Yeah.
Like truly, like I will be at Starbucks and I saw this young girl and she was so pretty and she just did a deep sigh, like she's just hated her job. I'm like, I'm so annoying. I'm like, excuse me. I'm like, you're really pretty. And then she was like, I just felt her perk. I'm like, thank you. I needed that. And sometimes I can be having a shitty day and I see somebody in pain. I was like, I have to go speak life into them. And doing that, it brings me up. That's like, it clicked in my head. I'm like, oh, I am supposed to be that way.
I mean, I can feel that, but I don't have that skill and the comfort, level to do that.
Different levels. We do the same thing, but different ways.
And I think in dental offices, you were doing it at a very, a shallow level in a way, but this is you're just diving in deep with these people and learning about them. So
I want to. It's like ever since I was a kid, my brother has this story of me. He's like, you used to walk into rooms and start talking to people like they're your friends. And I remember being a little girl talking to a room to my dolls and like giving them motivational speeches. So I was like, you know what, God, I think we cooking here. I think this is for me. And by the way, I want to ask you, Doc, do you remember our bet we made 3 years ago?
3 years ago. No.
We made a bet. Okay. So y'all, there's this running joke between Dr. Choi and I, because like we mentioned earlier in the episode, we used to say like Dr. Choi used to have his roller skates on like all the time. Now, in Dr. Choi, he used to wear like soccer dad New Balances, right? Like, I hated Dr. Choi's sneakers. I'm like, Dr. Choi, you are too cool to be wearing the soccer dad sevens. Like, what are we doing? And the Dr. Choi be like, man, Val, you're tripping. Like New Balances are comfortable. They're cool. And it was in the break room. It was like, it had to be like winter. And we were in the break room drinking coffee. I was like, Doc, the day New Balances are fire, I'll get you a pair myself. You're like, watch. Give it time. New Balances are cool.
Yeah.
So that being said, Doc.
What?
I had to give you a little sun.
No.
I did. Oh, I messed it up. Here. I was trying to be
Just,
cute. I had
roller
to.
skates.
These are the Air Choi's. I call them the Air Choi's. Like when I would seem like, Doc, we have a crazy day today. You got to put on the Air Choi's. So I was like, you know what? I got to fulfill my bet. Because them 96s is kind of fire.
No.
Yeah.
Oh. So bad.
No, those are the
these
fire
are chunky fire ones. Yes.
I'm like Dr. Choi da Boy.
God.
The Air Jordan. Don't want to get makeup on you. You're welcome. Wow. Yeah, like this is our bet from 3 years ago, winter.
Serious?
Dead ass, yeah. Wow. And you know what's funny? Before your last birthday, before we left, you're welcome. Wow. We were planning your birthday surprise. And I was texting Boomy. I'm like, oh, I think I want to get Dr. Choi custom sneakers because I was going to make you like a custom. Right. But then I guess the timeline, by the time I would have gotten them would have been too late for your birthday. So I just made you the custom birthday sign, the Air Choi's.
You printed it out.
Yeah. So she had texted me what you like and like your shoe size. And I went through my phone. I was like, I still have this message.
I was going to say, how did you know my shoe size?
Yeah, a little touch of Boomy there. She helped me out.
Wow.
Yeah. So, it was super cute. You're welcome.
You know, I remember that story because when you said that to me, literally the next day, I was sitting in the subway on the G train.
Yeah.
And this really, she looked kind of like you.
Yeah.
But she was like cool, like, she was like wearing jeans, like a casual look. And then she literally had my same shoes.
Oh.
Like sitting right across me. I don't know if you remember. I took a photo of it and I showed you. I was like, look, see, we're cool.
You did. I was like, all right, Doc. But
I'm sure I still have it. I got to find it.
I was looking for your summer fun day rap picture. I might find it, y'all, so y'all can understand why I call him Choi da Boy.
I'll send you those.
Yeah, that's the day I gave him that name. I was like, yo, that's when I was like, Dr. Choi is cool as fuck. Like, cool AF. Stop, Dr. Choi.
This is nothing but.
Oh my God, Dr. Choi.
When you told me this
I
is
love him.
nothing, but I figured when you
Oh my God.
told me about, maybe
the street interview.
Yeah,
Bro.
You gotta have a microphone.
Dr. Choi,
So
the boy. Y'all don't understand.
DJIs are.
Oh my gosh.
They're
Thank
good
you
microphones.
so much. I was literally gonna start looking into this. Oh my
You
God,
should
Dr.
do it.
Choi.
You should do it tomorrow. Just
The
go out
best
there.
provider. The best doctor.
Yeah,
That's why
something.
I think it's so important to support good people.
Yeah.
When I find like I said, I've worked in many offices and I have not found you're top 3 dentists that I've ever worked with in my life. And it shows, and this is why God is going to bless you. This is why CareNotes is popping. CareNotes is going to be at Greater Dental New York. You might see your girl there, We'll see. We're working on it.
Passenger Parlay is going to be
of course,
fire. And,
of course.
you too. You're an entrepreneur. You're taking
Thank
the
you.
risk, and
Yes.
you're doing what you're passionate about, what
Thank
you're meant
you.
to do. So I'm very excited to see
Thank you so
how the
much.
podcast will evolve
Flourish,
into.
yeah. And then Passenger Seat Parlay is underneath my Valinger Co. umbrella.
Oh,
I actually have a second industry that I'm in, which is where I do my dental billing and stuff like that. So, Valinger Co. If you need a manager,
Valinger
but you need
Co.
someone like Val, a little sprinkle, you get a Valinger. There you
Doctors,
go.
get on this.
right.
Valerie Co.
Yeah,
Valerie
Valinger.
Co. Oh, Valinger Co.
Yeah, it's like Val plus manager.
Oh,
So
Valinger
we're going to
Co.
finish some games here because, we had to derail a little bit. We're going to wrap it up a bit.
Yeah.
So, Dr. Choi, we're playing CDC. Not CDC, DCD. What would Dr. Choi do?
What would Dr. Choi do? All
Yes.
right.
So, actually, before we go into that, I had a few industry Q&As, people that want to ask dentists a few questions.
So, I was hoping, your audience would at least get some value from our discussion.
Oh, yeah.
So I know CareNotes was very tailored towards healthcare providers, but hopefully those who are interested in starting their own journey or their own company.
Yeah.
I think nowadays with technology being, where it's at with AI, there's going to be a lot of competition.
Oh, yeah.
Because the entry level to starting your own business, I think it's getting easier, which is great for everybody. So, but if you really have that passion, if you know what you're passionate about,
Yes.
and if you really work hard and put the time in and take the risk,
Yes.
it'll like you said, it'll manifest.
Amen.
Yeah, so
Look, Dr. Choi is preaching. I didn't even ask the question yet, and
that's
he
how
already
I got
answered
here.
it. Yeah.
That's how I got here all the way through. Yeah.
You know what? One of the questions they asked, and this is more so kind of tailored towards dentists, if somebody wanted to become a dentist, what are the first 3 steps to do so?
Oh, obviously, I think the first thing anyone should do is try it out. Go volunteer as a dental assistant.
Okay, smart.
Knowing this is what you want to do is key. Obviously, dentistry is not for everyone.
Right.
But there are other requirements that's easy, like, taking science classes, chemistry, biology. That way, if dentistry is not for you, you can always switch to medical or something else like chemical engineering and whatnot. But dentistry specifically, I would recommend going to a dental office and just see if you can shadow or volunteer.
Okay.
So seeing it in person, I think, is very important.
Very nice.
Because yes, you hear a lot of stories about dentists, being successful and all that, but it's a very stressful job. And if it's not for you, and if you're not meant to do these tough, caring for patients, it's going to be tough. Yeah. So I know a lot of friends who
started and couldn't do it.
I mean, they still do it because of the financial means, but they don't enjoy it. Yeah, they're stressed, and they find other hobbies to release their stress, whether it's golf or whatever it may be. But
right. There's a thing that dentists are serial killers. They're like the most likely to be serial killers. So I don't know.
They kind of take it in, and they can't vent.
It's a lot of trauma.
Yeah.
Okay, and what's number 2 and 3 for you?
For dentistry, number 2, to be a dentist, obviously you have to be good with your hands.
Got it.
I grew up just, my parents only gave me one toy to play with, which was Legos. So
smart.
So all I had was Legos. I said, I want this kind of toy. Like, no, you get more Legos. So, that
bring in insight. Get them babies Legos.
I think they started me young. And,
yeah.
So I was really good with hands, and
Mhm.
so I think just making sure you're good with your hands, and I guess the third is you have to like building things and designing things, and a
Gotcha.
little of artistic skills.
Yeah.
And another thing I guess is personal skills where being able to talk to strangers.
Yeah.
I was
Interpersonal.
really
Yeah.
bad at that. I was
Yeah.
really shy,
Oh.
and that kind of is a skill you can develop
Yeah.
actually. So I think just same with like speaking in public. I think more you do, you get more comfortable. So I think that's something you can do to start early
Okay.
on. Yeah. So
Thank you.
Yeah.
Another question that my crowd wanted to ask you was, why does one tooth cost so much?
Yeah. Well, that's a good question.
It's true.
There's many reasons, but I think the biggest reason is dentistry. Like I said, it's not for everyone.
Yeah.
Dentists, in order to fix that one tooth, went through years of training, years of school, and I paid over almost close to $500,000 in education.
Yikes.
Just in dentistry, right? So, for us, there's a lot of loans that we have to pay off.
Gotcha. So
now,
the fees are up.
just like any commodity, if there's many people doing it, and it's easy to do, the cost comes down. But the value, this is all about cost versus value.
Quality.
So if you're thinking about one tooth and you're in pain, where do you go? You go to see a dentist, right?
Yeah.
You can't just grab a friend who's good with his hands and say, "Hey, can you fix this?"
Yeah.
No, you have to go to a
fixing a leak,
dentist.
you got to go to a professional.
Yeah, you have to go to a professional who went through years of school and training and paid a lot of money for schooling.
Gotcha.
And they pay a lot of money to set up the dental office. That whole
Overhead is crazy.
Yeah, dental chair, rent, all those materials,
It costs.
all those and all those expense are reflected.
And even the materials we put in the tooth.
Yes.
Just that
yeah.
alone. I mean, here in New York, like in the 90s, yikes, all those
The rent,
amalgams.
yes.
Woo, that's when dentistry was affordable.
Yeah, we have to have rent. We have to have all those team members in the front to greet you.
Hello,
do
welcome
the billing,
in.
and my dental assistants. And there's so many different levels of expenses that I think gets kind of tied into that one tooth.
And shout out to Ro.
Oh,
Auntie
yes,
Ro,
my Roro.
Yeah, because she
we have to talk about Roro.
Yeah, those two, that dynamic, the best combo.
Yeah, she's the best, hardest working person I've ever known, and I work pretty hard, and I've been with her for over 10 years now, and she's never been late, not one day, not once. She's always an hour early for the patients and for me, so that the whole day goes smoothly, and just can't say anything bad about her.
We love Auntie
And
Ro.
I'm so fortunate to have someone like her. Got really lucky having her as my first.
You guys are like tailored.
Yeah.
Same thing with DZ and Daisy.
Yes.
I'm patiently waiting for Dr. Z to bless me on this mic, but I'm glad you came here.
Yeah, maybe we can come on together. I'll
that'd be
drag him
nice.
in here.
So, unfortunately, we have to wrap this episode up.
Man.
We could parlay even longer.
Yeah, I'm finally getting warmed up.
I know. You need to come back. I would love for you to come back again. Definitely.
Yeah.
And I have so many other segments that we could vibe on. Because this is just like scratching the surface of Dr. Choi da Boy. Like super cool. You're just such a complex person that I love. And what I like to ask people as a closing segment for Industry Insights is if you can bless the matrix with a message, it could be about your industry, it could just be about life in general, but just leave something in the universe for the listeners to, ponder on.
If there's one thing I can say for your audience is, this is how I live my life. And again, it's on my phone so that I don't forget. But I always say, word for word, what's on my phone is bring out the very best in people. So what you do, whatever place in the matrix that you're in, if you focus on bringing out the best in people, you'll be successful no matter what. And I think, yes, there's so many factors. You have to, be good at it. You have to make money out of it. And yes, there's a lot of stress, but all that, if you're bringing out the best in people, it'll give you joy. It'll help give you energy. So you'll do better at whatever you're doing. Again, tying back into dentistry, when I hear, I don't even look at how much I'm producing that day. I just look at who's coming in, and I know this patient hates dentists or hates being in a dental chair, or it says phobic patient.
Yeah.
And then I'm happy.
Yeah.
Because I know after this day, I'm gonna get a lot of good feedback from these patients. So when I see these difficult patients, they're always appreciative.
Yeah.
So with that appreciation, it gives me energy to do better, and it gives me more energy, even though it's a stressful, tough industry. So that just kind of cycles where I realize that's the secret, that's the hack in life, is if you get energy back and positivity back from what you do, from whoever you touch, you'll become better and better every day.
Yes,
so that's
I love
my,
the karmic balance.
Yeah, that's my little advice in the matrix, wherever you are, I guess.
I love that. Y'all, thank you again for coming on
Yes.
Passenger Seat Parlay Industry Insights.
Thank you.
Dr. Billy Choi, DDS, aka Choi da Boy.
Oh, thank you for having me. And have me back maybe with another interesting guest.
Of course.
Yes.
Bye, y'all. See you on the next episode.
Bye.